What is up, family? So I've been at a point in my life where I've had a desire to kind of share more about myself with you guys in order to help you guys understand me and also to help me understand myself. So today I kind of wanted to touch over a story that was important in the progress of my life, right? Now this story comes down to something that was hard to go through, but I came out better at the end, right? And so that's my main message through this video. So it all started when I was around 16. I moved out of my parents' house. When I moved out of my parents' house, I moved with a friend that I was doing a clothing company with called Skytop Clothing, right? Now through that process, I was 16, I was at an online school, so basically I was in a position where I was at home all the time, not living the normal life that a 16-year-old would. So based off that, I was around a lot of older people doing a lot of things that most 16-year-olds wouldn't do. One of those things included selling drugs, right? And through that process, it taught me business, but it also ended up not being the best either, right? And so we'll get into that. So through this process of drug dealing, I became a new person, right? I felt like I was the man. I had this money, I was getting it on my own terms, I was hustling, and basically I just felt like I was untouchable. And so I continued like that for a while, and I actually ended up, at 16, I bought my own car because my parents wouldn't allow me to get a car. So what I ended up doing is I bought my own. Now, because I was 16 and I was still a minor, I couldn't get my license without my parents' permission, right? So what did I do? I was driving this car without a license and without insurance. Smart, right? But like I said, I felt like I was untouchable. I felt like I could talk my way out of anything and I could just do whatever I wanted with no consequence. So through this process, I was selling drugs, I was driving to everybody who needed it, and there was this one night that I was with my girlfriend and I told her I would be right back. I was gonna go make a sale real quick to get some money. Now I went and made the sale, and on my way back I took a wrong turn. Now when I took a wrong turn, I was sitting there on my phone trying to figure out where I needed to go to get back onto the path, right? During that process, a cop car was actually right across the intersection from me. When I looked up, the light turned yellow, and I went because I realized I just sat through a whole green light. So once I turned left, I kind of just went into the stores that was right there, and then I went back onto the road, right? Right when I got back onto the road, there was another red light, and then once it turned green, I would be getting back on the freeway to where I needed to go. Now, right when it turned green, I looked behind me, and there was now 3 cop cars behind me, okay? So, boom, right when the light turns green, they light me up. Boom, alright, cool. For a second, I think, do I run, right? Because I have a safe full of drugs in my car. I'm unlicensed and no insurance, right? So I ended up not doing that. I pulled right over and basically got arrested. They ended up finding all the product that I had, and at that moment it was really a wake-up call for me. Yeah, it sucked, but I was actually in a good headspace knowing that, okay, I'm gonna get through this. So what ended up happening was I had a court date, I got released the next day, and it was cool from there. So next, I continued drug dealing, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, when I get to my court date, they put me on what's called home management. So it's basically house arrest without an ankle bracelet, okay? So, and also the judge told me, we're gonna check your levels today, so take a drug test so that they can see where my levels were. Then they're gonna drug test me in a month to see where my levels were at to make sure that I was stopping my drug use. That just said to me, okay, I just gotta start using less, right? So throughout this process, I'm on home management, I'm hanging out, I'm still smoking weed, I'm just chilling, right? Boom. Probation shows up, I have paraphernalia in my room, I have product on me, everything, right? Boom, get arrested again, right in front of my whole family, everything like that. Everyone's crying, I'm crying. It just was a very not good situation, not only for me, but for my family. Now, boom, I ended up getting put in jail for a week which that was the first time I'd ever been in jail, and it was very hard for me because it was just something I was so not used to, right? I get out, and now I'm on probation, right? Deep probation, not just probation, but I'm also on drug court, right? So it was a very intense program that I was on, and it created a lot of stress. And through this stress, I realized I had to cut all the people off that I would usually hang out with, right? I became almost a hermit crab. I stayed very to myself, and just kind of was alone a lot. Through being alone a lot, it gave me a lot of time for introspection, right? I was really looking at myself and where I wanted to go in life, right? My biggest fear was not being successful, not doing something with my life. And the reason being is because I know that I was put here for a reason. And if I didn't align myself with that knowledge, then I felt like a failure, right? So through this time of being by myself, I ended up buying this right here. It's a Blue Yeti USB mic. You plug it right in your computer, you can record, right? So this is where my rap career started, right? And if I had never gotten arrested, then it would never have put me in that place where I had to look inward and kind of figure out where my life was going, right? So fly past that, I ended up just recording. I never really took it seriously, but it was just something that I like to do. Throughout that process, I started my own clothing company, Clean Hustle, and I really started to educate myself on business, right? Through that, I really started to see patterns within business and start to see how I could apply that business knowledge to my music and actually become successful. Once I realized that, I took everything seriously and I started my music career. So we'll find ourselves 2 years later. I've got my own house, got my own car, got my own studio. I put myself in such a better position than I was when I got arrested. Now most people will look at getting arrested as a bad thing, right? And at the time I did. But now that I've gained more perspective, I've been able to look at the situation objectively. I realized that it was such a benefit to my life and it really helped me evolve. And so I couldn't be more thankful for what has happened to me, good or bad, because either way I learned from it. And that's the thing, no matter what happens to you, as long as you take the time to learn from it correctly, realize what you did wrong, realize how you don't do that next time, right? And now you put yourself in a position to succeed, right? To go forward. That's why successful people love to fail, right? Because it gives them the blueprint to their success. Now, I just really wanted to speak from the heart to you guys. I wanted to really give you guys something that lets you know more who I am, and maybe also helps you guys figure out who you want to be, right? I hope that you guys got some value from this, took something good away from it, and use it to apply to yourself, right? The most successful people don't just learn from their own failures, but they learn from other people's failures too. So I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to do exactly that. Thank you so much if you took the time to watch this full video. I love you guys so much. This is Garen with Clean Hustle. Have a great day.
Come and fill up on my mind, yeah. Cause you wanna feel my body, yeah.